So let's talk about DJ Envy versus Gunplay. This started from a
Oh man.
whole this started from a whole thing of Envy and Ross actually. I want to say they kind of collided based on the fact that they're both doing car shows. Rick Ross is really just jumping into the market. A lot of his neighbors are upset with him, Twiz. He's kind of suggested that his rich ass neighbors could charge for people to come and park on their property. I mean, I don't think anybody is really looking to do that. So Ross is just like thinking of he's thinking a little money mentality for people who are already rich. It's like, geez, not everybody's trying to make a few $100s in a day by having some people mess up their whole property. But so Rick Ross got clowned. He pretty much got clowned by DJ Envy on the Breakfast Club, where Envy was dressed up as the officer and all that, Twiz.
Yeah, Envy looked goofy with that uniform on. I just gotta say that. The uniform thing and all that, it don't make sense. I don't think that if you're not someone that lives by the street code or talk about the streets, I don't think him being a CEO or officer, whatever you want to call him, I don't think that's a proper angle for somebody like Envy. You know what I mean? Especially since that been leaked out. It's like, come on now, how many times is that going to get brought up? We all know he was a CEO and we know that he lied about it. But Envy, that's not your lane to do. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense for you to take that angle. I didn't really find it funny with him dressing like that.
And what did you think about the fact that Envy involved Gunplay and Gunplay took major issue to that? Envy involved something that's going on in Gunplay's life, with his child and his new woman. And I feel like honestly, yeah, that is taking it a step too far when you're going to go and
Yeah.
mention GoFunds me and stuff like that. So how did you feel when they took it a little bit more personal? I kind of felt it was unwarranted, and now you're involving another party into this. It's all fun and games when you're dressing up as Officer Ricky, but now you're talking about a real world situation to Gunplay.
Me myself being a father of five, man, I can only imagine the pain that he went through. That man sat in the hospital for 23 days. With that being said, a lot of times we hear like it's no rules to war. Now, when we make this statement, that means to the opponent directly. Meaning if it wasn't concerning Rick Ross or what he got going on, nothing should have been said about Gunplay. But I must add that a lot of people leave out the fact that Envy was a percentage right, what he said as far as Gunplay posting up a GoFundMe. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Gunplay said that his wife did that. Me and my wife, or if you married or got another half, y'all on the up and up together. Like a lot of people, they might lose children or family members and then they choose to do a fish fry. So before anything gets done like that, you are supposed to communicate with your other half. So Gunplay made it as though his wife put it up and he didn't really approve of it. But what Envy was basically saying is, Rick Ross, bro, you talk all of this boss stuff. You talk all of these millions. You the highest person in the world when it comes to financial freedom. It's no reason in this world why anybody in your camp should ever be in any predicament and should ever post a GoFundMe. That proves that Gunplay and his wife account ain't as big as it should be. And I'm not talking about from music. He didn't put in too much work. Like we know him, but it's not like he was an A1 celebrity. You dig what I'm saying? So with that being said, is when that happened, or if Gunplay should have been covered in all angles, bro. If I'm a boss and anyone in my camp are dealing with any financial issues, whether it's the roof over their head, you know what I'm saying, whether they have a child in the hospital, whether someone has to get buried, and I see them and it's like they're crying out to the road for help, it's automatically take that GoFundMe down. What y'all need? I got you. everything else stops right then and there. These are your folks, these are your people, your team. You are to make sure that they covered. And not to say that Rick Ross wouldn't have covered it, but I see why Envy took that angle because Gunplay shouldn't need for nothing, especially something like that. I never heard Gunplay complaining on no interviews and nothing saying Rick Ross owing money, Rick Ross did him dirty. He seemed to be loyal to the soil when it came to Rick Ross. So Envy was basically saying like Gunplay shouldn't need for nothing if you that big of a boss.
Yep, Envy pretty much put it out there like this guy Gunplay literally got came to blows with 50 Cent at an award show over Rick Ross. You know what I mean? Put his whole career
Facts,
on the line going to battle with G Unit, and
facts,
he's left out hung to dry. You know what I mean? When it's not a situation of needing some money to go buy bottles at Club Live, it's a real
exactly.
predicament. So yeah. So then we got to take it to the point where Gunplay actually gets DJ Envy on the phone. So
Hmm.
Envy and Gunplay, Charlemagne, they've all done the Breakfast Club together. I believe they said Gunplay was a, like pretty much a regular on the Breakfast Club show, although
Hmm.
we only saw him there in the really early stages of the Breakfast Club. You know what I mean?
Facts.
When they were doing their shock value type interviews. Once the Breakfast Club, leveled up and became a more corporate entity, I don't think there was any more Gunplay on the show. I mean, I'll have to look back and see if Gunplay got any play on the Breakfast Club when he was dropping the Living Legend album. But what was your take when Gunplay got on the phone with Envy and told him, I will smack you. I should smack you just for that. Just for mentioning that, you're putting yourself in an issue where it's going to be on and popping when I see you.
That's the pain of a father, man. You love your kids. The only other way that it could have been addressed was him bringing it to the tip of his nose. And when we talking about somebody like DJ Envy was never known to bring physical harm to anybody or things of that nature. So I felt as though what he said is how he felt. It's nothing wrong with that. Now you getting me involved, and you getting me involved in a situation where it was serious. You dig what I'm saying? He said pretty much all that he could have said, but the pain that he had, bro, like, no one can walk in his shoes as far as what he dealt with and still dealing with. He said he sat in the hospital for 23 days with his wife. Who knows her conditions even after getting out of the hospital? You play with somebody, kids, and that a person could have never had hurt nobody a day in their life, but they'll be willing to give up their life or take yours. You know what I mean? There's no rules after you start getting kids and stuff involved.
So, when Gunplay told him that I'm going to smack you, Envy did not really want to, back up from that. He didn't want to just seem like a chump. He's like, well, then it'll be a fight. Because Envy's like, listen, we're on the phone right now and we're handling this. So, and another thing I want to bring up is the fact that Charlemagne and Envy spoke on the fact that they were on the phone for 10 minutes after that. They were on the phone for 10 minutes after hashing it out, but Gunplay uploads the clip, and it's pretty much that Gunplay speaking with him and then letting him know that he could basically smack the shit out of him for putting him in that situation. And he cuts it. What did you think
Yeah.
about the fact that he just cuts the conversation?
Well, cutting the conversation. First and foremost, that was a sucker move. Gunplay, that was a whole sucker move, bro. This is how I carry it. It's like this, bro. Me being in his situation, his exact situation, my wife is upset. He made it as though his wife was upset. He didn't say it wasn't it. The whole situation was based around how his wife felt about it, how his wife took it. And of course, he was upset as a father, but he seemed very concerned to get closure with his wife because his wife is like, dang, bro, like You've been on Breakfast Club. You know Envy. Why is he even speaking on this? So as a man, what he should have done was, like I said, you should have brought it to the tip of his nose. If you ain't have your wife with him, if he didn't have his wife with him, he could have came up, confronted him, addressed him, and he knew Envy was going to be apologetic about that. Envy is also a father, so he would understand why Gunplay was upset. He should have had his wife by his side, and if he didn't, he should have been able to call his wife up and have DJ Envy apologize to his wife. Like, I didn't mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? I apologize. With him recording it, that was a sucker move. Like, I can't respect it, bro. Because now it's like, who are you trying to prove a point to? You can't be trying to prove a point to your wife if you upload a recorded conversation to whatever platform, YouTube, whatever he originally uploaded it to, for the world to hear. That's not, that don't got nothing to do with your family.
Yeah.
That right there shows me that he cared about how the world looked at it, because he know that
But
the world saw that and heard those clips, and that was a real sucker move. Like, I can't respect it, bro. I can't.
yeah, it's like he wants the world to look at him as Rick Ross's right hand man. He doesn't want the world to see anything for what it is. You know what I mean? I'm sorry,
And
that's
he
just not the way to live, man.
and he want the world to feel like that he chump Envy. Where we talking about DJ Envy, bro. You're not on the phone with 50 Cent or somebody like that. Somebody that if they say something, they stand on it. You're not really gonna get no apology from 50. You know what I'm saying? So anybody, a regular person that's not even a celebrity, can have a disagreement with Envy. It could have been the same situation. And Envy, the type of person you gonna confront, you know he gonna have a submissive attitude. He's not no rowdy type of guy. Like,
So then it comes to another situation where Envy basically he had no idea he was being recorded. And now since Charlemagne was there to vouch for the conversation actually happening, you know what I mean, going on longer, you know, Charlemagne is right there to vouch for everything, that there was an understanding that the conversation was not being recorded. Now you've left a witness because Envy is saying what Gunplay actually did could get him a huge fine. But more importantly than that, Envy said this is a felony in the state of Florida, Twiz. He's putting basically a felony on that man's jacket. It's like, yo, I don't give a damn about no fine if we're talking about a felony. A felony carries time in jail.
Envy is a sucker for even saying that. For one, you involved that man, got his daughter involved in it, and you know that the man is hurt. You know what I'm saying? Now, him recording it, I don't agree with that. But also, you got the man involved. So how he chose to deal with it, that's how he chose to deal with it. You got to understand, Envy, you was wrong for even mentioning the GoFundMe, because now people was, for the people I never knew, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a big follower of Gunplay, but it might be people that had no idea that Gunplay had a GoFundMe. Now you got people doing a research. What was the GoFundMe about? Now they found out it's about his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a sucker move for Envy. On top of him, like you just said earlier, he was the same one that wore a cop outfit, uniform, on the Breakfast Club and was mocking Rick Ross about that. So to even mention court or anything like that, that was nutty. I was just saying, sometimes, man, you got to know when to pick your battles, and when you're wrong, you got to own up to it, man. When you start the fire, you can't get upset on how big that fire get, because now you made something personal to that man publicly. So he chose to, you know, make that publicly, and he asked Envy to apologize. I don't think that Envy, I saw a clip where Charlemagne and them was talking about Envy and was like, "Oh yeah, you was busy, you wasn't on the show, bro. It's not about you being on the show. If he was thorough like that, he should have been like, why don't we go on Instagram Live? I apologize over there. matter, even if it's not that, I'll do a clip real quick. He has a platform. It's DJ Envy. He could have did a clip on Instagram, YouTube, real quick, and was like, you know what? I apologize. Me and Gunplay just had a big talk. I didn't want to. I wasn't trying to disrespect them. And pretty much he can say he was caught up in the moment, but he was just trying to prove that Rick Ross wasn't as big of a boss as he says he was. You know what I mean? So I think Envy should have cleared it up. And once Gunplay said, I need you to apologize publicly, it should have been a response. Instead of him, he already said he apologized once. Gunplay said like two times, I want a public apology. Envy should have said, you know what? I got to go out Los Angeles tomorrow. I got to go out this. After I get done that, how about we do this? You know what I mean? And that's how I think it should have been as a man. You know what I mean?
Man, Envy was saying stuff like that. District attorneys have been calling his phone. Like, what is up with that? Do you not remember a few years ago when Gunplay was on video dealing with his accountant? The prosecution, they wanted to roast Gunplay for doing that. They wanted to give the man life in prison. He was on the run while signed with Def Jam. His whole deal pretty much got ruined, and
Mhm.
Envy wants to go on the internet or on the radio and say that district attorneys are calling his phone. He would have never said something like this in the early 2000s. You would have never heard a DJ saying district attorneys are calling my phone. You would have been blackballed, in my opinion,
Facts,
Twiz.
facts. That's a sucker move, man. It's guys like him, man, that make light skinned guys, man, look bad, bro. Because you dig what I'm saying? Like you got your foot in it. Now you want to be talking about legal and all that stuff. Like, bro, we come on now, bro. Like, you out of pocket. Like, straight sucker move. And Envy is the type of person where it's like, bro, get out of here, bro. Envy, don't nobody care about how much money you is. You really like a corny person. I don't care what CDs he did. I don't care if Clue his right hand man. Him as an individual, bro, you are a corny person, bro. Literally, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Twiz, do you think there's any money to be made for Envy off of this whole situation?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If anything, it destroys his character more. He got other things going on with real estate and stuff like that on top of the Rick Ross stuff. And Envy stock will not get more boosted on the internet more than what it already is. He got to rely on the investments, which is a great thing, the investments and stuff like that. But Envy is not that type of person where people don't. If Envy just had a show where he was just talking, nobody would care, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, picture Envy trying to run a Breakfast Club by himself. You know what I mean? Charlemagne is right there. That's his wingman. He bring the most energy to that show. But Envy is just a corny person to me. He been in the game 100 years, but who cares? And ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? The mixtape wave is over. And he's doing what he's supposed to do as far as investing, but no, it's nothing he could do on the interview. I mean, on the internet that can boost more money for him. He's too much of a corny individual.
Yep, and he just cost himself two more relationships. Somebody who said he said that he was more than cordial with Gunplay, and then
Facts.
the fact that Rick Ross, I mean, just like we see Envy doing things for Young Dolph, you know what I mean? They're doing a party in conjunction with Young Dolph's label, Paper Route. I could have seen him doing a lot of stuff with Rick Ross as well, whether it came from, I guess, renting the crib that Ross has to using their pool. You know what I mean? Just a couple different business moves thrown out the window right there, just all because of a minor miscommunication.
Facts. That's a fact.